We're here talking to Roger Stone, who's a legendary political operative, campaign. How would you describe yourself, Roger?
Well, I'm a political strategist.
Okay.
I'm an operative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an organizer.
Mm-hmm.
And some people say I'm a hitman. I mean, I like to win for my clients, whether they're corporate or whether they're political. Public relations and how the internet age has changed everything has just made politics more interested and more hard hitting. So
Right.
I do all those things.
You gave an interview to Tina Brown's new publication, The Daily Beast, a week or so back, and you were talking about your role in the Florida recount back in 2000. And probably some of our viewers know about, well, they know about the recount and they know about some of your role in it. But you were saying that recently, because of things that have happened during the Bush administration, that would it be right to call them second thoughts, regrets, that you've had second thoughts about your role?
Well, I think it has to be
what
put in context. First of all, I recognize that I am a Reagan Republican. In other words, I worked for Ronald Reagan against George H.W. Bush in 1980. I was opposed to George Bush joining the Reagan ticket in 1980 and said so in a meeting of all the regional political directors with Governor Reagan at that time, and why Bush I thought was the incorrect choice. I supported Jack Kemp in 1988 rather than George H.W. Bush for president. I was not involved in Bush's re-election campaign in 1992 in any way, shape, or form. I sat it out. He was defeated. I did not support George W. Bush for president in 2000. I have been a pretty prolific critic of the Bush family and their policies. So I make it absolutely clear that I went to Miami-Dade at the request of James A. Baker III, someone who I admire enormously, someone who'd been very helpful to my career, someone who had persuaded Ronald Reagan to campaign for Tom Kean, the candidate for governor who was my first client post-Reagan, very important race for me, against enormous odds. So I owed Baker a chit, I owed him a debt, and when he asked me to go there for my party, I did. I was never enamored of Bushism. So for those who say, well, Stone has just woken up, they're not looking at the historical record. Secondarily, I have questioned George Bush's conservatism. I didn't renounce conservatism or republicanism. I renounced Bushism. Bushism and conservatism should not be confused. George W. Bush gave us a lot of rhetoric, and he certainly gave the social conservatives a lot of rhetoric, but in fact, he spent us into oblivion. He nibbled away our civil freedoms. I don't want big government, big brother government, wiretapping me without a warrant. Eisenhower didn't do that. Nixon didn't do it governmentally. Reagan didn't do it. Even Bush's father didn't do it. This is the first Republican administration that has decided to eavesdrop on Americans without a warrant. So that is different than previous Republican presidencies.